It's the end of another year and therefore we are all making our lists. Welcome to my best movies of 2017 video, and looking back, 2017 was one of the best years for film in recent memory. I don't remember a year that had so many amazing films that deserve to be on this list, and it pains me to not include many of them. And as with any of these list videos, there come a few disclaimers. I haven't seen every single movie this year. I'm still missing Shape of Water, The Post, Phantom Thread, All the Money in the World, and those are just the ones I can remember right now. These are the films that have touched me in most personal ways. These are the films that have stuck with me, that I loved watching them the most, that I've watched the most times, and the ones that spoke to me on a personal level. These are the ones that gave me what I was looking for in film in general or in each of these films specifically. We are going to agree, we're going to disagree, doesn't matter. What matters is that we all come here to share our love for film, and so let's start. Last year I did a top 20, and this year sure did deserve one as well, if not a bigger list. I made a top 15 this time thanks to the geeky community. Thank you so much guys for voting, and this time I do have some honorable mentions. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri was a very unique film with a very unique title, a very unique sense of humor, and very unique arcs for its very unique characters. It's got drama, it's got comedy, it's heavy on the emotional side, on the thematic side. I love this film and it pays me to not include it on the list. Spider-Man Homecoming is a Spider-Man film that screams Ditko, and we welcomed Spider-Man into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love this movie to death, even more the second time I watched it. I wish I could include it in this list, but again, too many great movies. It was a surprise to me in every conceivable way. It is a great horror movie, but it goes above and beyond that to make us care about the kids and Pennywise in very unique ways. It's a coming-of-age story. It never loses the horror element, but it also embraces how much we can laugh hanging around with these kids, and I can't wait for part 2. Brigsby Bear spoke to me on a very personal level, and I was sure I was going to include it in my top 10 list when I saw it. Again, unfortunately, too many great movies, but Brigsby Bear is a very quirky film in all the right ways. Wonder was a film that surprised me very much. Immediately I connected with this kid because he loves Star Wars so much, and the film throughout made me smile, made me cry. It's a very well done, feel-good movie. A ghost story. Talk about a film that questions what comes after life in ways you've never seen before. From the soundtrack to how it's shot, to the long pie eating scene from Rooney Mara, Casey Affleck's subtle, more than anything I've ever seen. The Florida Project is another film I was sure was going to be in my top 10 when I first saw it, and yet it just couldn't make it there, but I love this film. It really shows us the power of the imagination of a child and how wonderful childhood really is, even if we find ourselves in not so satisfying life situations. It's a very beautiful movie with a very beautiful message, right next to The Happiest Place on Earth. And now officially for my list at number 15. The Darkest Hour is a political thriller done right, focused on one of the most emblematic figures in history. Winston Churchill, played by Gary Oldman, was mesmerizing. This is one of his best performances in his career. I am sure he is going to get the Oscar nom, if not the win this time. But the film itself finds us so invested in Churchill because the movie shows us the man at the height of its powers, but at the same time at his lowest point. It shows us the powerful politician and yet the weak human, the flawed human that was found behind him. I don't remember seeing a film in which gender mattered so little that it did not block me from relating to the main character in any way, but Lady Bird did it. This is a fantastic coming-of-age story capturing the essence of life as a teenager and a relationship with your family, relationships at school, relationships with your education and your own beliefs, how struggles can come from those relationships and those beliefs, and Lady Bird does it all beautiful. It's a capturing of a moment that was done perfectly as far as the script is concerned, the direction and the acting, all flawless in my opinion. Maybe not the biggest surprise of the year, but one of the best, and sure the first surprise of the year, was Split. I loved this film, and I sure had a few nitpicks with it, but once the ending comes, and I will not spoil it here, my god, Split immediately skyrocketed its way into this list. James McAvoy's performance in here is absolutely indescribable. There was not an ounce of me that even believed or imagined that a performance like this was possible. And M. Night Shyamalan himself is now back to his former glory, and I can't wait for Glass in 2019. Aaron Sorkin proves to be a masterful screenwriter with Molly's Game, and now he has proved to us he can do amazing work behind the camera. With Jessica Chastain again giving us a powerful performance that is sure to put her on the Oscar-nominated list for Best Actress, a very welcoming supporting role for Idris Elba, and an incredibly riveting story that had me hooked from beginning to end. And I am a dude who doesn't care whatsoever about poker. This film will grab you and will not let you go. The editing is phenomenal, and those are just a few aspects that place this film at number 12 for me. Having just seen the first teaser trailer and loving it, even then I would not imagine that I would have placed Tonya on this list, but Margot Robbie gives my favorite performance of the entire year in 2017. Talking about a film that has unique energy, unique style, that does a biopic like you've never seen before. A mockumentary that pokes fun at its characters. It puts them in this antagonizing perspective towards you, and yet you are pulled towards them and you want to get more invested and want to know more of their story from each and every perspective that is presented in this film. It's riveting, it's hilarious, it's gut-wrenching, it's shocking throughout. This is a film that will have you dropping your jaw and saying holy shit the most. At number 10, we have a very hilarious movie. The Disaster Artist was everything I wanted it to be and more. The perfect balance between laughing at and laughing with Tommy Wiseau and The Room. James Franco is absolutely amazing as well in his performance and behind the camera. He really captures the unique perspective that Tommy Wiseau has on film, on life, the very unique quirky person that he is, larger than life and stranger than anyone you'll ever meet. His friendship with Greg Sestero is compelling, his story is funny and yet compelling as well. This film is moving and hilarious at the same time, and that combination puts it right here at number 10. Simple recipe for success right here. Write 2 amazing scripts, write a third one, and direct that third one yourself. Wind River, the directorial debut of Taylor Sheridan, and his third script on his American Frontier trilogy, is his second best for me behind Sicario. Wind River is absolutely soul-crushing. It's a film that is as thrilling as thrillers come. It has amazing performances from Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen. It captures the cold of the setting of this film. I actually felt cold as I was watching it. It's fantastically written, and it actually addresses topics that are very politically charged right now and are very important and should not be ignored. Talk about a director who has been underrated for the longest time, and yet he now offers us his best film yet. Baby Driver from Edgar Wright is everything it promises to be and more. From the masterful editing, the incredible unique use of music, the character design, the clothing design, everything in this film works to its benefit. The action scenes are thrilling and exhilarating. The colors in this film are absolutely incredible, and the classic love story at the center of it is actually quite moving and compelling. I love how the main characters are absolutely devoid of color when it comes to their clothes in such a colorful world with such colorful characters around them. Edgar Wright, definitely not underrated anymore. And speaking about a film that I was sure to be on that list, and it actually is, Coco. Pixar offers us one of their top 5 films to date for me, and Coco moves me every time I watch it. This film is an embrace of another culture that is not very well explored in film, and it actually is honored in this film. The film embraces and knows what it's talking about, from the setting to the backdrops to the themes discussed to the very basic story. Yes, it is a story that you've seen before if you put Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 together. But that is exactly what makes Coco shine the brightest, is the fact that we're seeing that we don't need a story like this to always have a white guy or a white girl, and we can have a different culture, a different story, a different theme discussed, and Coco does that brilliantly. And just like 2 years ago when I made my first video on YouTube of my top 10 2015 movies, this year, right after a Pixar movie, it comes Star Wars. In this case, The Last Jedi. And right now is where people will get mad and hate me and unsubscribe. And this is where the list will get divided the most. But The Last Jedi, I have seen it 5 times in theaters. This is the most compelling Star Wars film to date. The highest highs, the lowest lows, the most complex storytelling I have seen in a Star Wars film. The most bold of them all, and one that doesn't give us answers. Not the ones that we want, or not the ones that we don't want. I don't think for a second we got all our answers with this film. We'll have to wait for episode 9, just like when Empire came out, we had to wait to Return of the Jedi. But The Last Jedi sure is unique and amazing to me in the way it explores the spiritual and philosophical side of the Force the most. It gives us an incredible arc for Luke Skywalker, and it teaches to embrace the now, the new trilogy, and let go of the past. Luke, Leia, Han, they've had their story, they're part of this one, but they are not the story. An incredibly grueling reveal towards the character of Rey, and one of the best villains in cinema history right now, Kylo Ren. Thank you, Rian Johnson, for making Star Wars complex again. A film that takes its inspiration from the most ancient roots of cinema, Call Me By Your Name. A beautiful, compelling love story that doesn't necessarily attack our protagonists in ways we've seen before. They are not surrounded by misogyny or by scrutiny from an all-around society. They are attacked by their own insecurities and self-doubts. But it's nonetheless a beautiful love story in a beautiful setting with beautiful acting and incredible arcs for the characters, and one heartbreaking scene when a father talks to his son that has stuck with me till right now, and I can't wait to see how many awards this film wins. Shockingly to many, this has now become the best chapter in one of the best trilogies of all time, War for the Planet of the Apes. It's such a psychological deep dive into the consequences and repercussions of war. What kind of weight do they have on a man, and in this case an ape, that is just trying to save his kind? It brings us Ape Jesus, everybody. Who thought when Rise came out that we would have a movie that talked about the prejudice against the Jews or the Holocaust and have all these deep themes in it, and gives us one of the best hero's journey we've had in later years. Thank you, Andy Serkis, for giving us Caesar, the hero we never thought we wanted, but we now cherish with our lives. Ape Jesus, everybody. Ape Jesus. With every art form comes a different type of story told in a different type of way. And right here in Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan proves he's not only a director, not only a screenwriter, he proves he's a sculptor. And how he molds the narrative in Dunkirk is one of the most unique things I've ever seen in film history. War movies or not. This is a film that does not take characters as we perceived them before. The characters in this film are the settings and the time zones, and how he tells this story. It's very unique in its execution because it is successful. We see all the sides coming in, and we get the different perspectives, and we get them so encompassing, so moving, so thrilling, from the score to the editing, the cinematography, the direction. Dunkirk is one of the best theater experiences I've had, and one of my favorite war films of all time, and one of Nolan's best films. We talked about Caesar, one of the best heroes of the year, but now we're going to talk about the best hero of the year, Logan. This is a different superhero film. It's not a superhero film like you've ever seen before. Its roots are in classic westerns and classic narratives from the times of Greek theater. Logan broke my heart and put it back together throughout its entire runtime. It's a perfect swan song for Hugh Jackman and the best performance he's ever given in this role, as well as Patrick Stewart as Professor X. What these characters have gone through, we've been there with them, and now we say goodbye to them, thanking them for all their parts in this beautiful story that wraps it up in the best way imaginable. Well guys, it's now time to reveal my favorite film of the year. A film that has moved me, resonated with me, and stuck with me the most. The film that I never expected to love as much as I do, and I love more with each minute that passes, that has stuck with me in my head. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and that is Blade Runner 2049. This is coming to you from the guy who has Blade Runner as the best sci-fi movie ever made, as one of his top 10 movies of all time, and I am damn happy to have Blade Runner 2049 join the original right by its side. It's as a compelling a piece as it comes. This is next level cinema. The set design and cinematography and how they use it to tell the visual story, to build the world around the characters that we have in this film, and to evolve the debate that was brought on from the original Blade Runner, finishing the arc of Deckard and giving us a compelling and unique arc to Ryan Gosling's K, discussing what is human and what is not human in the most original way possible. This is as original as a movie that is not an original can be. My favorite film of the year, one of my favorite films of all time. Blade Runner 2049 is something else. Something that cannot be described by mere words. Something that has to be watched, and something that I will always cherish, that I got from Denis Villeneuve, from Ryan Gosling, from Harrison Ford. The performances, everything in this film is what cinema is about for me. And those are my best films of 2017. Thank you guys so much for joining me in my second year on YouTube and another amazing year of watching movies. Let's hope for an amazing 2018, but the discussion has just started. What did you think of 2017? Share your list below. Let me know if we disagree a lot, if we agree a lot. Let me know if you hate me or you hate my choices or love them. Any surprises? Let me know in the comments below. And my beautiful geekies, thank you so much for watching. You guys are the freaking best. Tomorrow I'll give you my worst of 2017 list, and I can't wait to see you there. Thank you so much once more, and so until tomorrow, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so you can be geeky united.